How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
First off, really love the anthology format with this, and I'm a huge fan of the Twilight Zone. But just big picture, if this show would branch out, would it have been in that kind of anthology format? Because I really appreciated that aesthetic.
Yeah, I think the Paloni Show in any version has always been like these characters trying to host a variety show and just keep and then just shit the wheels fall off and things go insane, but they're still trying to keep it together and host the show. So that's kind of the throwing to sketches and seeing a bunch of comedy from all these different voices. I think is intrinsic to the nature of what this thing is. I do think if it were to go, we might if we were to do, let's say, a bunch of these, we don't know. We just kind of just made this one and we're going to see what happens. But if we were to do a bunch, we probably would spin up a writer's room and we'd probably write some sketches that we would produce ourselves to plug in as well. But we'd still be bringing in cool people to play in this incubator. But but yeah, I think I don't know. We'll see. I mean, we definitely we're. I mean, I'll speak from. I'm so damn busy. I haven't really even. I've got old ideas that I'd love to stories that I'd love to do, and I have a few ideas from when we were making this one when I was much more actively thinking about it of like, oh, this would be a fun episode idea and this would be a cool story to do. But we'll find out down the road what the reception is like and if people like it enough to warrant there being more. But yeah, I'm just glad I got to do something with these characters.
I've for most of my life I've been a pretty horrible, ignorant film snob, and I like Preston Sturges, the comedies from the past, that Carol Lombard, that kind of machine gun dialogue, and just from all of you guys as collaborators, what makes animation, I guess, pretty much the top echelon when it comes to comedic writing in situations, because I think it really kills live action. And I know you guys have addressed this before, but someone like me who's ignorant is just realizing the comedy is here in this form.
Zach, I'll let you answer that.
Oh, well, thank you. I thought I was hoping you would pick it up to me. I have the perfect answer. No, I think I don't know. I think with animation you can really do a lot. I've never done live action myself, but I have a lot of friends that do, and you hear a lot of what you have, what you shot, and you can't really go back. With animation you can re-storyboard an entire scene, or you can reanimate a whole sequence, or you can go back in and re-record something. So it's very flexible. It's not really done until it's done, until it's out, which I like about it. I think I don't know, it gives you a lot of freedom.
It's
Every step
also
of the
budget.
process, every single
It's
step of
all
the process is an opportunity to plug more jokes in, and you can't.
Yeah, to make it better, to
Yeah,
plus it, to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
it back on the road if it feels like it's going in the weeds. You
yeah.
have all these opportunities, but then also budgetarily, you can do so much more. Like, imagine if this special were live action, we would have had to have a really amazing location team, and we would have had to find like the crazy haunted
Costumes,
house. We would have had to find the
props.
cabin,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think that those limitations will inform the room when you're writing and breaking story. You're going to be like, okay, well, what you have a ceiling that you can't, you kind of have to stay underneath, because your access to certain, like that's why there's not a whole lot of really crazy insane sci-fi movies in the same vein as like Thor Ragnarok. I don't know, just as an example, like you look at Thor Ragnarok, that that movie is what kind of got me into that whole Marvel wave back when that was happening with Endgame and all that stuff. I wasn't really into the movies as much before that movie, because that movie hit my brain like, oh my god, this is like just a crazy fucking sci-fi comedy, like with superhero pieces and stuff mixed in. But and I was just blown away at the budget. I was like, this is they built a whole crazy alien planet. There's like, it was really awesome, and it was well written and fun, and you don't see that often because those movies cost a fucking arm and a leg, and I think people are afraid. Sci-fi is scary. Sci-fi. To a lot of people, it's like, oh, do the crazy, 150, $200 million sci-fi comedy. Well, comedies usually are more in the 30 million. You know what I mean? Like, why would we spend 250?
Yeah.
But it's like, well, because then you can do something really magical. But then that stuff ends up just going to animation because it's like, yeah, it's just cheaper. It's way less expensive to do it that way.
Final question, Justin. You were saying your plate's really full. A year ago, I remember you tweeted about you're looking at the boundaries and the dimensions regarding crypto art, and then you've also expanded your life with gaming. Where's that immersion? Is there legitimate immersion in both worlds from your vantage point as a creator?
I feel so. For me, my relationship with crypto stuff is, we're about to launch a thing called Art Gobblers, which is just artgobblers.com. Or you can go to the Twitter Art Gobblers and check it out. But like, it's really just that's like an interesting on-chain experiment to see what kind of art gets made using a tool that's fairly limited in its capabilities. And sort of how that system is designed is very elegant as a thing that we're going to put out there and just walk away from, and just let it, just see what happens, like an organism, in a bottle. But like with the video game stuff, and there is some interactivity, obviously, with that project. But it's interesting just to do something like that on chain and to sort of see it's going to be really cool to see. Mainly, we're already seeing incredible art pieces coming from that. So it's really exciting. And then the video game stuff, VR is what got me in there in the first place. But now I've got this incredible, amazing studio, and we're about to ship our first, like, traditional game, big, giant, very ambitious first-person shooter, action adventure Metroidvania narrative, with talking guns as your weapons, but also your sidekicks and companions in the game. And I don't know, I see video games, I'm a lifelong gamer, so they're all so different. All these things are so different to me. I don't know what the future holds, but I do think AI is going to be a big part of it. I do believe that when it comes to video games, when it comes to all this stuff, AI is going to come in and really change the game for all kinds of artists and art in general. Especially, like, video games are going to be really interesting when we get to a point where you have a console or maybe a PC that you can just say, spin me up a Metroidvania style game with cartoony, characters and whatever, and then you're just, okay, and then you're off to the races. And then you can maybe tell the game a little less dark, maybe more colorful. Okay, and then eventually you're creating a video game with just you and an AI that you can then button up and tweet it out or share it on socials, and people can click it and play it, and it's like, holy fuck, this is a really good game. I don't know. Like, that's sort of the future of all of it. Give me a painting that looks like Monet, but it's like a Ren and Stimpy eating cake. I mean, we're already there. That's already happening. So, it's going to be really crazy to see how AI, and also just imagine a game. I know we were supposed to wrap up, so the last thing I'll say is just imagine a game with NPCs that you can talk to who it's like they're fucking real people. They're and you can just voice chat with them, and it's like that's going to be in the next 5 to 10 years. So it's going to be nuts. But anyway,
thank you guys so much for your time. Yeah, pleasure meeting you guys, and thank you guys so much for Eyes Wide Shut. Loved it. So thank you guys.